Hello, this is PG. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing The Expanse, a Telltale series on Steam. The game is also available on most major consoles. The Expanse, a Telltale series, is an episodic adventure game co-developed by Telltale Games and Deck 9. You play as Kamina Drummer, a crew member on a salvage vessel who becomes involved in a dangerous series of events. Okay, gameplay. Well, it's a bit like those old point and click games of yesteryear. You explore environments looking for points of interest or items to interact with. You can collect these items, you can talk to your crew members over the radio about the topic, or you can just get involved in some very limited conversations. But the core aspect of any Telltale game are the choices that your character has to make. These choices will define how the story unfolds and how your relationships with the other characters evolve over each episode. Now, one problem here is I'd say the cast of characters, they're quite a strange bunch with very little to like, identify with or relate to in terms of their personalities. This leads to a pretty big issue with the choices. Like, if you can't relate or feel anything toward the characters, then deciding who gets screwed over has no real meaning. I'd say this is the biggest problem with The Expanse. The choice aspect carries no real weight, and that after all is what Telltale usually do best. Maybe because it's co-developed, maybe that's why it doesn't quite have the same quality. But the game, it's not all about choices. You can explore, you can have conversations, as I said. There is a limited amount of action involved as well, from quick time events that sort of drive the combat. But there are some very enjoyable moments, like there's these trap evasion segments in zero gravity, which I thought were really cool. In terms of the story, you and your crew have got to survive a variety of hostile scenarios, and as you do this, you'll unravel the truth behind what's going on. But I can't say it was ever interesting or engaging as a narrative. It felt more like a checklist of things to do, choices to tick off, and cutscenes to watch. Even at the end, I didn't really feel any sense of enjoyment or intrigue from either the story or the characters. Now, speaking of the characters, it has to be one of the strangest ensemble casts I think I've ever seen in a video game. The pilot is like somebody's granny who, there's no chance you'd have someone's granny as a pilot in a million years. The lead protagonist, she's quite a monotone and one-dimensional character in terms of like emotional value. Very cold towards her kind of cohorts, and the choices she makes, it doesn't seem to change her too much either. But I have to say, the icing on the cake in terms of the characters are the twins, who are like an absolutely awful version of the Island Boys. Honestly, what on earth is this cast about? Hilarious. It's actually quite funny. It's not meant to be, but it is. Visually, it captures that sort of sci-fi space vibe very well. In particular, the zero gravity exploration. Sound-wise, I'd say the voice acting isn't of the usual high standard that I would come to expect from Telltale. It's not bad, but you know, they've set a high bar. I also think some of the characters just don't fit. Now, whether that's their voice actors, whether that's the writing, whether it's just the ridiculousness of the ensemble, it's very hard to pinpoint, but there's something fundamentally wrong with the ensemble cast and the audio around them. Anyway, the verdict. The Expanse, a Telltale series, it's a disappointing addition to the stellar back catalogue for one of my favourite developers. From the lacklustre characters, the predictable and by-the-numbers narrative, or the mundane nature of the conversations and interactions, it all left me with a sense of underwhelming, just a lack of interest. Telltale usually have very well written characters who you can relate to straight out of the gate, or they have stories that are so powerful and hard hitting. Playing as a salvage crew with no real backstory elements makes very general play and choices feel completely irrelevant. So not a game I would recommend even if you see it in the hard sales. Stick to the Walking Dead series, stick to the Wolf Among Us, because that's, if you want to know what Telltale games are all about, those two game franchises will tell you like the quality that they usually work to. I mean, it's not a complete disaster. I did enjoy the zero grav exploration and some of the action set pieces were quite interesting. Everything else though felt very, very disappointing. Scoring, the Expanse, a Telltale series. It's difficult because I do like the Telltale developers. I'd say it's somewhere between a 5 and a 6. I'd probably say 6 out of 10 because I do like the developer and I did enjoy some bits of it, but it's very much below par for me. 6 out of 10, not a great game. Anyway, that's the review. Thanks for watching. This is PG signing off. Cheers.